怀素家长沙，幼儿是佛。金蝉之霞，颇好彼岸。然恨未能圆睹前人之奇迹，所见甚浅。西游上国，遂赴长安，夜见当代名工。一边绝简，往往遇之，豁然心胸。树形似，奔蛇走毁势入座。骤雨旋风，声满堂。许机阁，志在新奇无定则。骨瘦离离，半无没。心手相识，事转奇。鬼形怪状，方合一。哈哈哈哈！本臂长廊数十间，幸来小破胸中气。忽然绝叫三五声，满臂纵横千万字。号召莫烈奔四，满座师生看不尽。最来信手两三行，最来信手两三行。醒后却说，殊不得。远兮无前侣，孤云寄太虚。狂来轻世界，醉里得真如。
I want to say thank you to the actors for their wonderful performance. They presented a free-spirited dance that brilliantly interprets the captivating charm of Huai Su's autobiography. The original scroll measures 28.3 centimeters in height and 755 centimeters in width. with a total of 698 characters. So, Professor Qiu, what does Huai Su's autobiography actually convey? Some internet users jokingly refer to it as a combination of praise and self-adoration. Is this true?
When
we read Huai Su's autobiography today, we could easily have such thoughts. This was a characteristic of the Tang Dynasty. Scholars who went to the capital city to further their studies or to take examinations had to pay tribute to highly revered individuals and present their own poems and writings. If you didn't even have a self-introduction, how could those influential individuals know who you were?
You can only say how others praise you rather than praising yourself directly.
This
is a very clever approach. So through such a self-narrative, we can perceive that people have indeed written a lot of poetry for him, and it is very likely that this self-introduction played a significant role in it.
So, Huai Su's autobiography is a clear example of wild cursive script, isn't it, Professor Qiu?
眼前我们所见到的这个怀素的自序帖，就是唐代流传下来的。
The autobiography by Huai Su that we now see is one of the few surviving examples of wild cursive script from the Tang Dynasty. When we see wild cursive script, we might feel a sense of awe, thinking that these characters are too difficult to recognize, almost like a cryptic script. So regardless of the precise work of cursive script, there is always an explanatory text behind it.
因为不能阅读这些文字的话，人们心里的欣赏是不踏实的。
Without being able to read these characters, our appreciation would not be complete. After reading it many times, we can even recite the content by heart. And our feelings align with its structure and cursive style, making us feel secure.
混同一气，我们心里踏实。当狂草出现之前，
Before the emergence of wild cursive script, calligraphy in China was primarily practical writing. However, the emergence of wild cursive script brought about a great liberation of its aesthetic qualities.
那个特质得到了极大的解放。
It no longer matters whether the reader recognizes the characters or understands the content of a letter. This led to an important characteristic, which is the power of the imagination.
特征就是说，想象力。
When he unleashes his madness, he looks down on all worldly limits. And when he's drunk, he achieves the tattva. This does not use today's language to describe such imagination, but if we concentrate and meditate, what is the tattva? We have no idea. It encompasses the entire world, a state and power that permeate the entire universe and are beyond comprehension.
一种不可知的状态和力量。
I actually find Huai Su to be quite legendary. Moreover, historical records depict him as being particularly interesting. As he said, drinking to nourish one's temperament, practicing calligraphy to express one's aspirations. He would write calligraphy everywhere, on walls, clothes, and objects. He was truly a remarkable individual.
一定意义上，
He was born after Zhang Xu. We know that in a certain sense, the style of wild cursive script was created by Zhang Xu. So, when there is a creator ahead of you, it becomes very difficult to follow. Therefore, Su Dongpo once said, "The knowledgeable create, the capable elaborate. He can only elaborate." From this perspective, Huai Su's elaboration was quite arduous. However, in his later years, he did not continue with the style of wild cursive script. In the end, he turned to a very plain style of writing, like the 1,000-character classic in small grass script. Facing Zhang Xu, the pioneer of wild cursive script, Huai Su made lifelong efforts and pursuits in this realm. Even though he reached the pinnacle of wild cursive script with works like the Autobiography, he continued to seek other artistic realms.
Professor Meng, would you agree this is closely related to the larger historical context of the time?
对呀，这就是一个时代精神呐。
Absolutely. This is the spirit of an era. Where does this atmosphere of the time come from? I believe it originated from earlier in history. In Chang'an, you could encounter people from all over the world, the best things and the best ideas from all over the world. Therefore, everyone felt that they could ascend the mountain's crest and dwarf all peaks under our feet. Huai Su felt the same way. I believe it's this kind of confident, assertive, and romantic atmosphere of the time that led to this large group of people and the emergence of such calligraphy. So Mr. Yu Guangzhong said Li Bai portrayed half of the flourishing Tang Dynasty with just one word. Then Huai Su, with his bold strokes, captured the other half of the flourishing Tang Dynasty.
Next, I would like to invite all the enthusiasts here to write Autobiography as a tribute to this classic. Actually, when it comes to copying cursive script, a question arises. If it's too faithful, it loses freedom. But once you express yourself freely, it deviates from the original. How do we balance this contradiction, and how should we approach this issue?
草书其实是非常难临摹的。
Cursive script is actually very difficult to copy. When we teach students to write it, we often see them look at the model and then write 2 strokes, then 2 more. Sometimes they look at 1 stroke and write 1 stroke. In this way, they fail to grasp the inherent rhythm and the spatial relationships in cursive script. They're simply imitating. Because when it comes to cursive script, especially wild cursive script, is essentially a free expressive style. The structure of each character doesn't have a fixed routine, which presents great difficulty for copiers.
这样的话就给临写者带来了极大的困难。 怀素当时写的时候，他完全是一种。
When Huai Su was writing, he was completely spontaneous and inspired. If you write spontaneously as well, it would not be the same. If you completely follow the structure he created and then write, it would no longer be spontaneous, but rather an imitation, even a mechanical imitation. This sets a high demand on the writer.
这就对临摹者提出了很高的要求。
Let's now take a moment to admire the pieces of calligraphy created by the enthusiasts.